Hey there, long time not speaking to you. So, I wanted to chat about this whole identity management setup using Microsoft Azure Active Directory, right? I mean, it's pretty serious stuff with all the businesses juggling so many credentials. Azure AD is this big, comprehensive tool that lets you handle users and groups, get access to apps both on-site and online. Alright, let's dive into it. When we're talking architecture, Azure AD centrally manages all this identity biz, making sure people are who they say they are and only letting folks into the goodies whenever they're supposed to. Think of it like a sophistic gatekeeper in the digital age for your organization, ensuring security is peachy by enforcing multi-factor authentication. This could be your mobile push notifications, or, those text messages where you enter some kind of security unlock code. Setting it up. We're looking at deploying Active Directory domain services, or just put plain ADS. It's hosted in the cloud, which means no big infrastructure hassles. But here's the kicker, you link Azure AD to ADDS using Active Directory Domain Services Connector, or ADDSC to be precise. It's like creating a bridge so the on-premises system can communicate with Azure AD. But you'll need to do a bit of homework before you set sail on this journey. First up, you choose the deployment tier for ADDS. That, of course, means pay-as-you-go or the kind with some fixed cost. Then, pick the licensing model, like you do with all things Microsoft, which also has options to play around with costs. You then configure it to handle the identity stuff, where users from Azure AD can log into Office 365, for example, seamlessly with SSO, right at their fingertips without breaking a sweat. Now, let's not forget about access control through groups and conditions. You've got permissions to organize users in groups so you can apply granular access control. Like assigning the finance team to access certain reports, but not everyone in the marketing department. And then there's these attributes that make Azure AD pretty slick, with conditional access based on, say, location or device to ensure folks are who they say, and not some bot trying to sneak through. Configuration-wise, you take an Azure AD tenant, link it with your on-premises Active Directory so when an Azure AD user taps in, the system knows they're legit and hands them access when they're needed, no more password fatigue. You can even automate password resets, no human intervention needed. There's Azure MFA for that MAM stuff we wanted to talk about earlier, the one where you gotta prove yourself twice before getting into the core data or resources, keeping things tight. And if things go south, if troubleshooting's a headache, we've got tools to trace from a request to the user through logs and see where the issue crops up. Monitoring is like your crystal ball. It allows you to keep an eye on what's going on without losing sleep. It's like saying, hey, what's happening right now with my users, and it shows you, with metrics and logs. The Microsoft Purview platform is your go-to governor for all your compliance and monitoring needs, giving visibility like never before. Tossing in the best practices is crucial. Think of it as seasoning for a dish, it makes everything that much better. Like keeping your apps and services in check, setting password requirements, teaching folks about using MFA. And how about the cloud-based identity solution for remote work? That's a game changer when people are calling in from, God forbid, Mars or something. It's all about balance, between security and convenience. And Azure supports it with some wizardly Azure rights management for data and information protection, locking down files at rest or in the wild, the internet that, of course. Now, let's get down with the heavy lifting, deploying applications compatible with single sign-on. It's like you just sign in once and bam, you are in, accessing all the apps you need without the need to hop between multiple logins all over again. You wrap all this up with a well-thought-out access policy that lets only the right eyes on the right data. If a password's forgotten, a reset password step in, but remember, the user can't pick the new one, keeps the loop secure. Alright, it's time for some real troubleshooting scenarios. Let's say your user is always getting locked out due to, I don't know, MFA not getting through. Time to check the setup, maybe there's a setting out of sync. Or your user can't log in, despite being in the system and all. You'll dive into the log files, find patterns, and figure out what's breaking the bridge between Azure and on-premises AD. Got your system whirring with all the features on? Great. But let's not stop with the basics. You extend the identity management to SaaS, those cloud apps folks rave about. And keep everyone on their toes with updates and compliance, making sure you don't fall behind the times with security trends. You can also set up multi-factor authentication that sends a login signal to your SMS or those apps that hold everyone's precious data if their office doors lock for the night. It's not all smooth sailing, though. There are costs involved, those licensing and AD/DSC fees. They're your investment in getting a secure, efficient identity management system. Then, you've got scaling, expanding your system with Azure AD Connect when you outgrow the initial deployment. Look, I'm not writing an encyclopedia here. This is just a nudge in the right direction about getting Azure Active Directory set up to handle your enterprise's identity management. It's like getting that perfect cup of coffee, something just right, with every little detail in the brew. Remember to review compliance to keep up with the laws of TechLab, like GDPR or whatever's in fashion and legal today. Okay, I've taken us through a whirlwind tour of Azure AD as your identity management solution, so it's time to wrap it up. If you are eager to dig deeper, for more nitty-gritty details or to get your hands dirty with implementing what we chalked out, take a peek into other resources like the docs or blogs dedicated to this subject, where folks with similar thirsts quench their knowledge. And hey, for more insights and tutorials on tech and beyond, make sure you get in on the action at neeraj.qzz.io. Subscribe there, so when you are ready, I can hit you up right in your inbox. Keep your digital doors open and your systems locked, but always ready for your folks to access what they need. See you in the comments or in the next YouTube video I might drop if I can find the time. Until next time, keep innovating and stay secure.